looking good lookins. My name is Cindy Metter and I am a fangirl. Hey guys, some of you may or may not know that I'm obsessed with a little show called Skam. I would call it a pretty mild obsession. It's not that big deal. What? I wouldn't call it a huge deal. I would just say that it, takes over most of my thoughts during the day and sometimes even takes over my dreams at night, so. But no lie, I've actually had multiple vivid dreams that have involved the Skam characters. And these dreams happen a lot. And sometimes they're more vivid than others. Sometimes I wake up and completely forget them like almost immediately. But a few of them actually have stayed with me in enough detail for me to be able to write them down. So without further ado, here are 4 Skam dreams that I have actually had. Here we go. So the first one, actually, I mentioned in my video, A Day in the Life of a Skam Fan. At the end, I talked about the dream where Dan and Phil are my roommates. So I'm just gonna tell you a little bit more about what happened there. Okay, so it was really weird. It was in my college dorm. The videos that I posted a few months ago throughout the school year were all in my college dorm. So in my head, that's where I was. I was in my college dorm room, but I don't think it was actually supposed to be a college dorm room in my mind, because Dan and Phil were my roommates. And they had their own separate rooms. Like they weren't sharing a room with me. It was kind of like a suite style thing. And they had their own separate rooms, but Dan and Phil, they kind of like to keep to themselves and stay online all day and stuff. I was talking to my friend and I was like, man, I'm so upset, like Dan and Phil are my roommates, but they never leave their rooms, so I feel like I don't really know them. I want to get to know them, I want to have a conversation, but like I just never get a chance. And so I was kind of like upset about that, and I was like, aw, Dan and Phil, this sucks. And then Dan and Phil came out with all their camera equipment, and they were like in a huge hurry, like they were like grabbing all this stuff and setting everything up, and they had all these costumes on, and I was like, Dan and Phil, what are you doing? What's going on? And they're like, oh, we're just filming a video, and they were like being really short, and like they didn't want to talk to me, and so I was like, okay, cool, and I was like trying to make small talk with them, but it wasn't really working very well because they were really busy, obviously. So then I was just like, well, okay, I guess they're busy, I'll just like do my own thing. So then I guess in my dream a new Skam clip had come out. So I got on my laptop and I was watching the Skam clip, and like that's when Dan came up and looked at my laptop and was like, oh my god, you watch Skam? I do too. And then we like kind of bonded over Skam. But then my mind like flipped to the actual clip. Like, sometimes in TV shows when you're watching a show and then the clip becomes the whole screen sort of thing. That's what happened. But it was like in Moulin Rouge, that movie with Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor. It was like that movie when they're on top of that like elephant building. They were singing this medley of love songs, and instead of Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor though, it was Isak and Evan. And they were like on this ceiling and they were singing songs together, except Isak was also Peter Pan. And I don't know how he was Peter Pan specifically, but he could fly. He could fly, and he was like grabbing Evan and like flying him all around the building, and they were just like singing and flying and dancing together, and that was the dream. So I feel like that was mostly a Dan and Phil dream, but I mean, Isak and Evan flying around singing songs together, that's a dream I'd like to have any night. Okay, dream number 2 is a doozy, and this one, honestly, like, not even gonna lie, it was a little bit scary. So this dream was basically like Nora, Ava, Penetrator Chris, and I were all staying in a cabin, and I don't know why, but we were. And we wanted to like go out and party one night, so we went to like this club, we were dancing and hanging out, and then as we were like walking back to our cabin, Ava was like, I'm gonna go a different way. So Ava started walking like alone, and me and Nora and Penetrator Chris were all like walking back to the cabin. And this was before season 4 had started, and I feel like myself and the rest of the fandom were all really kind of curious and confused as to like what was going on with Ava and Chris. Like, were they dating? Were they just like casually hooking up? Who knows? I was just like asking Chris all these questions like casually, like, so what's going on with you and Ava? What, are you guys like together or something? And I was just asking him all these questions, and I don't remember what he answered. So we get back to the cabin, and it's the three of us, right? Because Ava went another way. I've never been to the cabin that was in my mind, so I don't know where my mind got the idea for this cabin. But basically the back door was like a window. You know those doors that are just like mostly window, so you can see through them almost entirely? That was the back door. And me and Chris and Nora were all in the living room, which had like a clear view of the back door, and we were just like playing board games or something. And then Ava, we can see her outside because of the windows, and she's pushing this really old guy in a wheelchair, and she like leaves him by the door, and she says something to him. Then she comes inside and is like, hey, this guy asked if he could party with us. Is that cool with you guys? And we were all just like, who is that? Like, we don't know who that is. We probably shouldn't invite him into our house. And she was like, well, what do I do with him? Like, I just left him out there. I can't do anything now. Like, he has to come in. And then I think it was Chris was like, let's just leave him out there. He'll get the idea eventually and then leave. Like, just don't say anything to him. So then the rest of us were just like, okay, I don't know, fine. So we were like playing board games, chilling, playing like cards and stuff. And then I remember like thinking, I wonder if that guy's still there. So I like turned and I looked, and have any of you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Where like the girl goes upstairs and there's like a guy in a wheelchair, but he looks like dead, like he is not moving, he is not making any facial expressions, he's just standing there motionless. And then you find out later that the grandpa actually isn't dead, he just like needs blood or something because he's like a freaking vampire, I don't even know. Anyways, so basically it was that guy, and I know it because like the face was the same, but he was basically just like standing there with the door was closed, but he was staring through the window just looking at us, and he was not moving at all. He had not moved a muscle, but he was just looking at us through the window. And then I remember being like, okay, that guy's still there. It's been hours. We need to go talk to him. And everyone was like, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Get Chris to do it. Like, Chris, you do it. You're kind of like abrupt or aggressive, or I don't know what the reasoning was, but we thought like Chris would be able to just be like, hey, get out of there, and we would all feel bad. So we were like, hey, you tell him. And he's like, hell no, that guy's scary. And so I was just like, well, I don't know what to do. And then they were just like, he'll leave eventually, just keep playing card games. So literally the rest of the dream was just like us playing card games and me looking out the window every once in a while and seeing that the guy was still there and not moving. It was really, really creepy, but also kind of fun because I would really like to go to a cabin with those people if they were real. Dream number 3 was really weird. I remember a lot of it, but it's kind of like a jumbled mess. This was like early on in season 4, and it started with, there was some guy that wasn't Yusuf, that wasn't actually a character in the show. I don't know who he was, but he was like chasing after Sana and he wanted to date her. He was being really cool and stuff. And then, yeah, no, I think like Sana was like kind of like, yeah, I could date this person. And he was like, date me. And she was like, yeah, okay, I guess. And then I think Yusuf showed up with like a crap ton of puppies or something. And then Sana was like, oh, puppies, and like ran to Yusuf, and then the other guy was like, oh, dang. And so, yeah, that happened, but then like it switched completely, and now they were like on an ice rink or something. It was Sana and the guy that wasn't Yusuf were on an ice rink, and the guy went in for a kiss, and Sana was like, meh, okay. So then Sana and the other guy were kissing, and then it changed again. They were still at an ice rink, but it was Sana and Isak and Evan. It was like a montage of them skating and like having fun. Like there was music playing and everything. Like they were just skating around and like laughing and playing. And then Isak and Evan did the like spaghetti thing, the Lady and the Tramp spaghetti thing, except it wasn't spaghetti, it was like a fishing rod, which I know doesn't make logical sense with like physics and everything, because how do you bite that and swallow it? But they did somehow. And I'm not even gonna question it because it was kind of cute, so whatever. Yeah, but no, that was the entire dream, because that one wasn't as vivid, I don't think, but I wanted to share it because, oh, Isig and Evan and Sana going ice skating. Like, who doesn't want that? That's so cute. I think I need to get out more so that my dreams can be filled with actual people that I know and real life adventures rather than YouTubers and fictional characters. You know, if you don't get a clip every day, you're probably dying a little on the inside, and dreams about the Skam characters kind of help that, especially when you're in it with them, because that's just like a dream come true, honestly. So there you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a weird concept, but I started writing down these dreams after having them for a while because I figured this would make a really good video, and maybe some of you might want to hear about these dreams because they're kind of funny. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit subscribe below because I make videos every week. And if any of you guys have had any Skam dreams, go ahead and put it down in the comments because I really, really want to hear about them. Until next time, peace out, Girl Scouts!